Yes, yes, yes! Hey! Welcome to the interview.
My name is Chance Reynolds. I was born in Memphis, but I've lived in Treasure Island for most of my life, and then now St. Pete. So Florida, Pinellas County, the Tampa Bay area, if you will. I mean, I've always been into music. From a very young age. I mean, my dad drove me everywhere. I was an only child. My parents didn't, they drove me to school and like picked me up and shit. And so I was always listening to whatever my parents were listening to. And I was just kind of always in it. My mom made a point when I was like a fetus, when I was a baby, to just play classical music and jazz and stuff like that. And then a lot of electronic music from the heyday of the 90s, you know? So just early exposure. And then I was in band from like 4th grade on. So I've just been in music for a long time. I mean, what got me into jazz specifically, I started my band, Chaunces, and I was like I've been making electronic music for a while, and I've been like writing all the stuff, and I wanted to perform live. And so I set a deadline for a show, and we had planned a show, and I didn't have band members. I knew someone from high school that played jazz, and he introduced me to a bunch of people, namely Cooper Madden on bass, and Alex Malkovich and Arius Pedigo. I was like, these guys can play jazz, so they can improvise, they can read sheet music and stuff. And so they were jazz musicians, and they just showed me a lot of the music, and I was like, this stuff's cool, so I wanted to do that. And I've been faking it this whole time. This is all a ruse. I don't know anything I'm doing. I'm just depending on them. So that's how I got into jazz. Chaunces is one of my projects. I would say that up until recently it's been more the main one. That's like all my original music. I'm not trying to like brag about it and shit like that. And so that's like original music. I do a lot of the production and recording, and my musician friends come and we record and play the stuff. So that's like me. And then we have the trio, either Chaunces Trio or Chance Reynolds Trio, depending on where I'm playing, you know. For that, we play a lot of standard songs that we find that we think are cool, and we can put our own spin on it. Because when you're playing for 3 hours for a gig, like a jazz trio gig, versus like a 45-minute show, here's our set list, you kind of just have to know a lot of songs. And so I don't have 3 hours of original music. So the jazz trio and Chaunces are the main two things. So Keith and Sydney of Oscura fame, I've known of them for a while, and I think we started playing shows here because I'm in the industry, as you say, the service industry. I work at Bandit, and I've given them coffee and food from time to time, and word spreads like wildfire around these parts, and they heard that I play music live sometimes, or maybe they saw me or something, and they just asked if we wanted to play, and then we started doing it monthly, and it's been really cool. Yeah, I'd say my friend Will Russick has definitely impacted my music journey. He's an electronic music producer. If you're familiar with Tipper, he's in that same world. He goes by the name Schmoop, S-C-H-M-O-O-P, and he's been like my number one guy when it comes to just like throwing ideas off of someone and just like talking about like, well, what should I do in this section? You know, equalizing production stuff. He is a wizard with all of that. And Matt Galloway and Noah Sane, those two guys, I do WEEF with them. We put on shows and do stuff, and they've been very influential for me just to like be a creative. There's so many other people. I feel bad listing anyone in particular. So mainly my parents. They've been nothing but loving and supportive of me, and being an only child is so sick. I'm an attention seeker as a result. Again, to be so self-centered, I'd say my favorite show was probably WEEF 2. Quote, "We're all gonna die." Again, me and my friends put on like a crazy show, and a lot of people came. It was very cool. It was wild. I got to scream a whole bunch, and I was dressed as a sexy nurse, or that might have been the sexy maid. I don't remember which year was what, but the dress was very short, and yes, I was wearing fishnets with can you believe it, 6-inch heel boots, and I did walk around in them and play drums in them. So that was a fun show, a challenge, and a performance. It was crazy. If I could go back in time and give myself advice, don't prove anything to anyone except yourself. Just make something. And it sounds like I'm some incredibly successful and accomplished musician. I play shows, but I'm in it with the rest of y'all. I'm like one of you guys. Just make something. I used to make electronic music profusely. I would make a new beat, or whatever you'd call it, every day, pretty much. I would come home from school and just like sit at my computer. I wouldn't do homework or anything. And slowly life got in the way, and that got harder. And then I started thinking about art more, and actually curating your taste and what you're into and what's cool and what's not. You find friends that are into the same shit that you are. And so then there's more resistance. The flow becomes more viscous, and it becomes harder to push it out. It's like your brain becomes constipated and you can't shit out your ideas as you once were able to. So just make something, you know? It's like eat an apple. Do something that'll loosen up the stool, the art stool. Just make something, and eventually you'll get back into a flow and you'll be able to make things but like naturally. Don't think about it. Don't think about the artistic process while you're making it. You're in the artistic process. Trust yourself. You've taken all this time to do what you know you're good at, so just do it. That's what I struggle with, and I have to tell myself every day. To no avail. You know what you can look forward to is every third Thursday at Oscura, we're playing here from 8 to 11. Doors are at 7 p.m. I am genuinely so stoked and grateful that we're able to play here every month. It's like a cool thing. It's like, it's there, it's established, it makes us look cooler, and I hope that we can help them with their stuff, you know? It's cool. But other than that, I mean, follow me on Instagram. I've been telling people this, and I'm still holding true to it, but the timeline might be extended. I was saying that for the entire month of February, on all my days off, asterisk, I would be going to my studio and recording music and doing the stuff. And then for the months of March and now probably April, will be post-production, actually shuffling through everything I've recorded and making an EP or an album. That'll be coming soon.